Good morning, everyone. Ho ho, not morning where you're at? That's okay, because you can have eggs for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Welcome to episode 73 of Three Eggs Are Better Than One. I am Brad Stanton, along with fellow eggs Matt M. and Brian Heremza. Thank all of you for the positive feedback from last week. Last week we did Mount Rushmores again. A lot of food involved. Matt half participated. Bryant knew the assignment. If it's your first time listening to the show, we do something called Sunny Side Up. It's our good news of the week. And this week we have Matt.
Are we the blue shirt boys right now?
Oh, we are.
Didn't plan it.
Nope.
Nope.
So I actually only have one, truthfully, honestly, only have one thing for Sunny Side Up right now. Do you guys know the musician Billy Strings? You heard of him?
No.
No.
So he is a up and coming. I shouldn't say up and coming. He was a really fast rising star. He's a guitar player, sort of folky style music, and also pretty popular in the jam band scene. But he can play arenas, which is, more than I shouldn't have said up and coming. He's very popular. Anyways, last weekend, he left the stage for his encore break and was going to come back out for another song or two. But apparently, he's also an avid skateboarder, and he attempted a trick backstage and fell and broke his leg. So he was not able to come back out and play the remaining songs for the encore, unfortunately. And he's going to take some time off. But before he decided to take some time off, Dave Grohl texted him and said, "Hey, do you want to borrow my throne?" Do you remember when this happened? And it was 2015 now, a long time ago. Dave Grohl, Foo Fighters, fell off the stage in the start of a show. And after a couple of days went by, he wanted to finish their tour. So in his medically induced stupor when he was in the hospital, he drew up this throne that he ended up sitting in and for the rest of that tour, and it became a little bit of an iconic thing. And then Axl Rose ended up using it because he got hurt, and it made sense. So Dave Grohl offered this guy Billy Strings to use the throne, which I thought was pretty neat. I like that. And while I was researching it, I found out that two other people have actually used the throne in the course of the last decade. Not nearly as well known people as the people I've mentioned so far. Apparently, one guy from like some metal band like stopped an attacker with a gun at a show a while back and got shot in the leg, and he saved everybody. And Dave Grohl was like, "Yeah, you should probably use the throne while you're recovering from your gunshot wound in your leg." So, anyways, a lot of little pieces of the story there, but I really like that whole thing. Like
Yeah.
the throne lives on, you know.
Yeah, that's good. Very good. Bryant, what do you have to say? You
I
look like you want to say something.
I don't. I just want to know why like I get the throne. Like I remember Dave Grohl using it when he broke his leg, but at the same time I'm like, how are you getting like? Are you just like? Is this like a constant Venmo thing? Or is like, hey, you call over here, I'll get you a throne. No, you call this guy, and then I got a throne guy now. You just pass it on, and we'll just pass it on through the whole music industry now. Like
It's
seems odd to me.
it's funny that you say that because now I'm remembering a detail from the story about the lesser known guy. It said Dave Grohl shipped it to me at his expense. I
Yeah, who's paying for this? That's the real question.
think Dave
Yeah,
Dave could probably afford it.
Yeah, they
yeah,
got money.
probably. Yeah.
All right, guys. So this Tuesday was a little weird for me. I'm usually off Tuesdays, and I'm still off, but I had to go in for a meeting. We have four big meetings a year, and it doesn't whatever day it lands on, it's just what it is. So I had to go in for a couple hours. So my whole schedule was screwed up. So then I went from there to Walmart. So I walk into Walmart, and I'm like noticing something. I'm like, man, why is everybody being so nice? Like people are like, oh, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. And everybody's getting in my way. I went to the deli. I said, chipped, you got it, sir. Anything else I can do for you, sir? I'm like, what is going on? People are getting out of my way in every aisle. And I'm like, what is it? And I looked. I'm probably the best dressed person at Walmart. And there was something to it. There was something to it. I was all dressed up and I was at Walmart and everybody was like, it was unbelievable. But all good things come to an end, right? So I'm in the soda aisle. what do I see? Dr. Pepper Zero in 2 liters. Now, the last time I tried that, we know what happened, but I was able to buy a 12 pack. So I put them in my cart and I go to the cashier, and I'm not even really thinking about it. I figure everything's fine, right? So she's ringing up my order, and comes to the Dr. Pepper Zero, and she does it like 6 times. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? And she looks at me and she's like, it's not in the system. It's just not in the system. And she grabs the manager and he comes over. I'm like, oh, here we are again. And I type into my phone, not going to be able to buy the Dr. Pepper Zero again because I'm ready to talk about it on this show. But you know what the guy does? He goes, sir, we are going to get this figured out. Ring it up,
Hey.
ring it up as two regular Dr. Peppers or Diet Dr. Peppers. They're all the same price anyway. And she did it. And that was it. Okay.
Yeah.
It can be done. It can be done.
But this is all because you're wearing nicer than usual
I think
clothes.
so. I
Yeah.
think so. Sunny side up. I might dress up every week for Walmart.
So if you wear nice work clothes to Walmart, you're basically the emperor.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they thought I was a secret shopper.
Oh, probably. I could see that. Yeah. 100% see that.
But good news, there's Dr. Pepper Zero in the house in 2 liter. I think they have a inventory problem now because they
The
have two
problem.
less Dr. Peppers.
I mean,
Well,
maybe, but that's a Walmart problem.
That's a
the big
Walmart.
issue is what is a month gone by and they haven't rectified this scanning problem?
Yeah,
But
that's the
I
bigger
also
issue
like
here.
the idea that this is a guy that gets things done. The other
Oh,
guy
fuck
doesn't get
that.
anything done. So
That-
there's gonna be a rubber match here. And I'm gonna be there again one day with Dr. Pepper Zero. And we're gonna find out what that guy says because I have an answer if he says no.
True.
Sunny side up. What do you got, Brian?
Um, I don't have a lot of sunny side up this week here. I do have an update. I did get to speak to the owner of Max, as we talked about a few weeks ago. Max is with a new family. Max is doing great, playing with his sister a lot, and keeping active, which is great for him. He kind of needs that. So that's kind of the bulk of my sunny side up. But I'm going to pull a Matt here, and I'm going to ask my fellow eggs a question that they're not prepared for.
Perfect.
Guys, who would win in a fight between these people?
Ooh.
We've got Sylvester Stallone, Chuck Norris, Bruce Lee, Mike Tyson, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Muhammad Ali, The Rock, Steven Seagal, and Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Chuck
Who
Norris.
wins in a fight?
Chuck Norris.
I think chalk. I mean, we should be using process of elimination here. We can.
No, if I'm saying we're in their prime, by the way, we're going to talk prime.
I would
Prime.
immediately eliminate Sylvester Stallone. He's an actor.
And you can eliminate The Rock too.
Yeah, I mean, The Rock is
I'm not
mostly
saying he
an
can't
actor.
handle himself, but he's not a
Yeah.
professional fighter like these guys.
Not
Tyson-
even close, no.
Tyson's a contender.
Yeah.
I feel like Tyson's got that chance because a one shot.
Well, so is
man,
Ali.
he's gonna take you down.
Yeah, yeah. The final two is probably the boxers and Chuck, right?
Well, Bruce Lee.
Final two, final three. Bruce Lee.
See,
Yeah,
see, I don't know if I would take Bruce Lee. I feel like
he's a bit of a showman.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
John Claude and Steven Seagal are they're also martial arts. I mean, they know
Yeah,
they're
but-
actors.
but not to the degree of like having real
Probably
life
not. Did they
battles.
ever compete? No.
no, I don't believe so.
I don't know if they did, but I don't remember
I
it.
think they competed when they were young, and then they said, "Oh, well, it's a lot easier to not compete and just act."
All right. Final
I can
answer,
see
Chuck
that.
Norris.
I'll go Chuck. I mean, he's listening, so I gotta say Chuck.
It's true. See, I was torn between Chuck and Mike Tyson. I will be honest with you. Prime Mike Tyson, one punch, I feel like could take out a lot of people. I just can't overlook Chuck Norris. I love Chuck Norris too much to overlook him for this. But I just thought it'd be something interesting there. And like I said, something a little different to conclude Sunny Side Up.
Very different. Very different indeed. Which brings us to hard boiled. And I have some things.
Which is usually not very different.
So, as you guys know, I paid $35 a piece for surf sides at the Wells Fargo Center. My buddy was there recently for the play-in game of the 76ers, and they were at the bar, and they ordered two Woodford Reserves. Woodford Reserves whiskey, not cheap if you buy it in the liquor store. I think it was anywhere between 50 and $70, somewhere in there, depending on the size. He got it for 2 for $10.
What?
What kind of bullshit is going on at this stadium where everybody's just against me and it's for everyone else? That's what I
What did he get? Half of an ounce?
I mean, it's only probably 2 shots.
Still,
but it's
that should
still,
go
that's
for-
great.
That's going to go for over 20 wherever I'm.
Easy,
Yeah.
easy. I'm paying $35 for fake freaking vodka in a can with some juice. No.
Yeah.
Ah, man, I was so pissed to hear that.
And show some respect. It's Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It's not just whiskey.
Okay. Um, so I was watching the hockey playoffs have started, and I was it was the first game. I can't remember the teams, but immediately when they started, it was a fight. It was like who was going to set the tone,
Set the
and they
tone.
and they got put in the 2 minutes or whatever it is, and that was it. What happens if you get into a fight in football? What happens if you get into a fight in basketball? What happens if you get into a fight in baseball? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's like 2 minutes, 2 minutes, no fine, no nothing. How is
It
this
can it
allowed
can be
still?
it can be five.
Yeah, you need a 5 minute
But I'm
major.
saying you're still playing in that game.
That's what
Yeah.
makes hockey
He
so
threw his
special,
gloves
though.
Hockey,
down and started punching the guy
Yeah.
hockey,
intentionally.
yeah, hockey is very unusual. I mean, they change the team just as in the middle of the game while it's going on.
It's
Yeah.
so I've been watching. It's just that blows my mind that nothing has really changed with hockey. Nothing. Everywhere else, every other sport,
Yeah,
rules, rules,
changes,
rules.
evolves. Yeah, no, nope.
Not hockey.
And go
So
Avalanche.
and go Flyers.
I
I
thought
go
were they up two
Avalanche.
nothing? Last I
Three
looked, it
nothing.
was
Three
3-0.
3-0 as we record this, Bober. I don't know what's going to happen, but 3-0 as we record this.
Wow.
See you Saturday.
Brian, you root for Avalanche?
I go for the Avalanche. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Because of
So,
the doubles.
also in Walmart, and there's a lot of people that get in those little motorized carts that probably shouldn't be in it. Let's face it, some laziness involved there. Well, I saw a guy yesterday in a wheelchair with one leg pushing a cart with his other hand. Now that, my friends, is a badass. Shame on the rest of
That's
you with
that's
your
a
motorized cart.
that
This
is
guy
a
with one
reverse.
leg in a wheelchair.
It's a reverse Walmart customer right
I was everything was reversed. Everything was reversed this day. Finally, I lost a filling, and I had to make a
there.
dentist appointment because it was bad. So I got there today. Um, my appointment was for 9 o'clock. I get in there about 10 to 9, and I sit down, and then another woman comes in. Then the dental hygienist comes in, and then a friend of mine comes in, which is really funny. So I'm sitting there, and at 9:01, the dentist comes in. Great. Yeah, wait, what the heck is going on here? 9:01. You know what I mean? The customers are here, the patients are here first. You're here at 9:01. Now, and also my other question is there's only one dentist. Who's helping all three of us? Okay, at the same time, nobody. So I get called and I look at the two ladies and I said, yes, I've been chosen. That's from Seinfeld. And I get to go to back. Hey, look, I got here first. It's the way it goes. So it didn't take them long to realize that, yeah, I was missing a filling. I mean, it was my own diagnosis at first, but I know what was going on. So they said, we got to put a filling in. And they're like, we're going to give you some Novocaine. I go, okay. So they put a little bit on the back, it's all the way in the back. And they're like, let us know when it starts working. So they're just standing above me, like I'm just laying back. And I said, well, okay, well, go ahead.
What was the manner of administration of the Novocaine?
It was on something and it was just,
No needle, just rubbed it
no, it was
on.
topical.
Oh,
Yeah. There was
I usually
no,
get. I've gotten the needle
the
before.
needle would have been better.
Yeah.
Okay. So I say, well, let's just, there's just a lot of silence right now. How long is this before it's supposed to kick in? 2 to 3 minutes. Let me tell you something. This is a tough 2 to 3 minutes. These women are just standing above me, and like I just need to move this, forward. So I go, well, she says the dental hygienist says she goes, yeah, it's probably going to be tough for you to know because it's such a small spot. I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I don't know. I go, maybe we should just try it. Well, screw that. Okay. Ow. Because it wasn't kicked in. And she stuck that, whatever that is in my tooth, and it shot from my head all the way to my toes. And I'm like, ah. Luckily, as it went on, it started kicking in, but it was not a fun experience.
Oof.
So now it's time to, I'm done. They filled it. 20 minutes. Not bad. Getting ready to check out. And I say, I have a copay in this situation because this is not just my two visits. And it's going to come to $25. Am I perfect? So I give her my debit card, my credit card. She goes, oh, I'm sorry. Our credit card and debit card machine is down. Do you have Zelle? No, I do not have Zelle. No, I don't have Zelle. She goes, well, do you have cash? I'm like, obviously I don't have cash. She goes, oh, what are we going to do? I'm like, I don't know. What are you going to do? I'm here to pay. I have money to pay just because you don't have everything set up. She goes, well, can you do me a favor? Okay. Can you go to the nearest ATM and go get the cash?
No way.
I
You
said,
can't.
sure. And I left and went to work. Hard
Exactly.
boiled.
How could they not just send you a bill? That's
Yeah,
the
just
most.
send me a
Exactly.
bill later. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Are
pay the
you kidding
$25.
me?
Yeah,
Medical bill. Now they're going to try to hit you with some other charge because you didn't pay.
I may come back and pay. That credit card machine's gonna be up eventually. If it's still
Yeah.
down next time I go, then this is a Dr. Pepper Zero situation all over again.
It is.
She wanted you to go to. Are you making this up?
Do I ever make it up? I wish I made this shit
She
up.
wanted you
I
to go.
wish you would walk in there with like $50 and go, nah, I'd like my change.
If no one has suggested to me to go to an ATM in a decade, and if they ever do, I'm going to laugh in their face.
Can you believe it?
I cannot believe it.
Another wonderful experience.
Oh my God, you were not wearing the suit there, were you?
No,
Mm.
No respect.
no respect. Which brings us to egg whites, Matt. And this is why you had a very short sunny summer.
I know you fucking set me up. You
Yes,
set
for the
me up.
win! For the win!
Well, for anyone who has listened to the 70 plus episodes we've done now, I love talking about names. And I've had episodes where I talk about one specific name, the name Elizabeth, pulled that apart. And so I'm going to revisit that, which is what egg whites is. I did not know there is a New Zealand indie rock band called The Beths. And the front woman is Elizabeth Stokes. And she said she named the band after herself because she was inspired by the Gilmore Girls. Now, I don't know anything about the Gilmore Girls other than I know it was a TV show. And I'm pretty sure it was about a mom and like a single mom with a daughter. And they were the Gilmore Girls. So the main character on that show, her name was Lorelai Gilmore. So now I'm captivated because the name Lorelai is that's an unusual one. She named her daughter after herself, which is obviously highly unusual. Pretty common for men to do it, right? But not for women. So the main character, so I never saw the show, but the main character, played by Lauren Graham, Lorelai Gilmore, she was a single teen mom. She named her daughter, played by Alexis Bledel, Lorelai after herself, but the daughter went by the nickname Rory, which is I can barely even say that, Rory. The whole thing was fat. It was like a mini down the rabbit hole Russian doll situation with Beths and Rorys and the whole thing. So it was right up my alley, right up my alley. But moving on deeper into egg whites, another thing I've done on the show, and it's been actually 4 or 5 months, so I was able to accumulate a pretty darn good list of celebrity names that are unusual, and for some reason we just never questioned it or anything. So let's go down the list here. You guys can give me some commentary as we go. Who remembers Clinton Portis? Running
Yeah,
back?
Yeah, the
yeah,
running
right
back for
back.
the Broncos and Redskins
I
or
mean,
Commanders.
Clinton is a last name for sure, but how many people have that as a first name? I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
I don't know. Is Clint short for Clinton?
Could be,
Could be.
could be.
I
Never
don't,
thought of it
but I
that
don't
way.
remember calling anybody Clinton, but I knew a couple
Clinton,
Clints.
Clinton, Jennifer Goodwin, but you know how she spells that? Ginnnifer. She's
Yeah, it's
not
almost like Guinevere, but it isn't.
Jennifer. Okay, I had to look up Chevy Chase. It is not his real name. Of course, that's how he went throughout his career, but his real name was actually Cornelius.
Yeah,
Cornelius Crane Chase, Triple C.
I like the triple C, but
Triple
I
C.
Yeah.
think I like Chevy
Cornelia.
better.
Yeah, Chevy's all right. She's a singer, right? Dua Lipa?
Yeah,
Dua. That's her name. Dua. Ah, okay.
Okay.
if you say so.
Actress, not big time, but if you saw her face, you'd probably know her. Clea Duvall. Clea. Clea?
I like it though.
It's unique.
Yeah, I like the
As
name.
is, yeah. How about a pretty well known actress? Shailene Woodley.
Mm,
Shailene. I don't know any. I don't know any Shailenes. Shailene. What is that? It's a lot of letters to get all that.
Is there a Y, did you say?
There's no Woodley. There's a Y. You guys ever watch a show? There was a pretty decent show on about a decade ago. It was called oh, I'm forgetting now. It was called You're the Worst. It was either called I'm the Worst or You're the Worst, but
You're the worst. Yep. Nope.
You're
I
the
know the
Worst.
show
It
you're
was a
talking
pretty
about.
good
Yeah.
show. And one of the actresses on the show, a lot of women on this list. Her name was Kether Donahue. Kether. K
Doesn't even
E
sound
T
hot.
H
That doesn't even
K
sound real.
Kether. What is that about? Kether.
No.
Kether. This next name is not a celebrity name, but I threw it in here because I know I went to college with somebody by this name, Honora. Honora. Honora.
Mm-mm.
So she actually had a different birth name, and as she grew up, she changed it legally because she did not care for her birth name. It was a very common name, which I'm not going to share. But she didn't like it and didn't want to go by it, and she wanted something incredibly unique. And I gotta say, I don't know anybody else that goes by that name, so I think she was successful. How have I missed this one in all my previous undertakings here? Callista Flockhart? That's a pretty obvious one. Callista?
That is a unique one. Yes.
Yeah, it's just been she's been around so long.
I guess.
Call
Yeah. It just blend. Yeah.
Callista
Just
Flockhart.
blends in with. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, where did I pull this name from? Oh, it was on that show DTF St. Louis. The one of the actresses' name, her name was Wynn Everett. Wynn. Wynn.
I mean, it's spelled right, but
Yeah.
it's still a weird
It is
name.
spelled right.
Hmm.
Wynn. Wynn.
Oh,
Remember Jabba Chamberlain from the Yankees
yeah.
pitcher? Yeah, his real name is Justin. There was a whole story about that, but he went by Jabba.
Hmm.
Like the hut?
Yeah.
Joba was how he spelled it.
Mm,
Yeah, you don't remember Jabba?
I do now.
Yeah, yeah, he got attacked by the flies. Few more. Rooney Mara, right? Kate Mara's sister, also an actress.
Oh,
Rooney,
Rooney, no.
Hmm. Rooney. Yeah.
Like Edward Rooney
Yeah.
from
Rooney. You don't know
yeah,
Rooney
like
Mara?
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, she doesn't act as much as her sister, but she was in the Social Network. And
Hmm,
she was in a horror movie like Nightmare on Elm Street remake, I think.
Hmm.
yeah.
Yep.
We've talked about The Office recently. How about Creed Bratton, which is his real name and also the name of his character on the show, Creed.
Greatest. One of the greatest bands ever. Yeah. Of course.
But come on, the guy's name is in real life is Creed.
Yeah. I
I
kind
think
of
we've
like
heard
it.
of this guy. What's that?
I like it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think we've heard of this guy, Ringo Starr. Might have heard of him before.
Ringo.
Not a lot of Ringos out there. If they are, they're named after him.
It's
Yeah,
true. That's actually a good
exactly.
point.
He
Yeah.
was the
They're all
first
after
Ringo.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody was named after Ringo.
No.
Two more. Longtime actress, Angelica Houston. A-N-J.
I was gonna say Angelica's a real name.
A-N-J-E-L-I-C-A. And she also spells
Uh,
Houston Huston without
Well, wait, that's
not
not
with.
her choice. Isn't that her last name?
Okay. I don't think her first name. I must have front name. I don't think her first name was.
front name. Her front name. Yes.
And finally, uh, star football player Von Miller. And I was like, that's got to be short for something. It is.
It,
Vonnie.
hmm.
Vonnie is his full front name. Vonnie.
Vaughn's fine, but Vonnie isn't.
Vonnie. No. That's why you go by Vaughn.
Vonnie
Yeah.
should be like a nickname for Vaughn,
Yes.
like Jenny for
Reverse.
Jen, you know?
Egg whites.
Very good.
Love it.
Always enjoyable. Matt is obsessed with names. Which
Yes, he
brings us
is.
to the chicken or the egg, which is preferences. And I did this as a group activity, so I would imagine it's going to be short. Which, Bryant, you're first.
My preference is going to make me seem odd, especially in this era we are in. But I prefer physical media. What do I mean by that? I prefer DVDs and Blu-rays. I know streaming's the it thing. Streaming's the thing you want. I see Brad's already making faces.
Yeah, I mean, did they even make this shit anymore?
They do. They do. So for me, and goes into the nerddom, my preference has a lot more to do with the wrestling side. A lot of things, some can be found streaming, some can't. Some things have been streaming, now they're gone. So you lose that so you lose that opportunity to stream, and that's where the physical media comes in. It comes in and lets you keep the memories, keep the matches, keep the shows, keep all this stuff together, and allows you to continue to watch where you might lose it in streaming form, because like use the WWE as an example, everything goes off Peacock. Where did it go?
Yeah, I agree
We
with
still
that.
don't know. So pay-per-views, yes, they're on Netflix, and the Vault is doing a great job on their YouTube channel, but I will admit to being the weirdo, and I like physical media. I
No,
really
I
do.
like physical stuff. I mean, I like books. I still have a Kindle, but
Mhm.
read on Kindle. But I like some books. Like I wanted the JR book.
Yeah.
But yeah, physical. I get it. I get it. I like
So
having some. I have records. I have new out like that I started collecting since they came
Yeah.
back. Stuff
yeah,
like that. Yeah, I agree.
Very befitting of you, Bryant.
yeah.
Now
So
I have heard of books, and
you have okay, good.
and at one point I had a lot of books, but you know what? I like moved, and I was like, God damn, books are heavy. It was like the heaviest boxes we had were filled with books.
So what happened?
I think I got rid of most of them.
Oh,
That's just disgusting. Yeah.
like at a yard sale?
I probably burned them on the back end.
Oh,
No,
Oh,
of course
that
not.
sounds about right.
No, I probably threw them away. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
no. I think if you want to do a little research, we need to find out where these books are.
yeah. So
The garbage.
I'm gonna add one more thing here, and this is more of a me thing because I've talked about it and I've decided that for this purpose, this is the collection. These are all my wrestling
It's
DVDs.
psychotic. It's psychotic. You need your own
Yeah.
room for
This is
this.
everything.
Wild.
So, and it is multiple promotions, but I just wanted to also show that to show there's my physical collection to
Jeez.
everyone consider me completely insane.
Yeah, it is insane. Uh, Mine is food related and pretty simple here. I prefer bone-in chicken wings to
Hmm.
bone-out chicken wings. However, I prefer boneless, skinless chicken breasts over bone-in chicken breasts or chicken legs.
I can't even follow what you're saying.
So, like when I buy chicken for the house and I'm going to put on a grill or something like that, I'm not buying any bone or anything like that. I want
No.
boneless,
No,
skinless, and I want to bread it. Well, there's people that like bone-in stuff. That's not me. But when it comes to wings, it's pretty much the only thing I eat with a bone in it. No,
well, to be fair, boneless chicken wings are just chicken nuggets. I mean, we'll just
depends.
call it what it is. I
Depends.
mean, but are you talking when you say bone-in chicken? Are you talking like a whole like a rotisserie chicken kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just, a bone-in breast or a bone-in like leg, you know what I mean? I don't want
Okay.
that. I don't have any interest in that. I don't want any bones in my mouth like that, you know? I like just to cut the chicken with a fork and not worry about killing my teeth, as you know, with a bone. So, but I do like a chicken wing on the bone. I don't,
I
but these boneless wings, when you say they're popular. They're on
They
every
are.
menu now.
They are
Like
now. Yeah.
I never understood it. Like I agree with you. I can make my own boneless wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called dipping nuggets in hot sauce or whatever.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
So anyway,
Yeah, they're not really the thing is they're not really wings.
no, but why do they call
No.
them that?
It's just they could slap them down the next to the menu and
So they're lying.
So they could sell
marketing.
more chicken nuggets. That's all they're
They're
trying to do.
lying that they're wings. They're not.
No.
Marketing.
What do you got, Matt?
I prefer to text full words and proper spellings instead of shorthand and abbreviations. I got a friend, she'll text you, the letter U for YOU. You're 43 years old. What are you doing that for? After LOLs and okay. All right, okay, maybe I can let some LOLs slide, but
You've never
why
done one.
why are we abbreviating?
You've
I
never
don't
done an
I don't
LOL.
think you've ever done one
No, he
before.
hasn't. And I've noticed it. And I've been waiting for it to come up. He's a big ha ha guy.
I'll tell you what, if I actually belt out laughing out loud, I'll send a capital LOL in a response
Well,
to
I have
something.
yet to have one.
I don't think you've ever done it before.
I've done it.
Ever.
I try to, it's because I'm not a bullshitter.
You are completely bullshit.
I'm being honest. I'm being
Uh,
honest about my ha-has and my la-las.
I'm
So
just glad it's finally came up because this has been a long time of me thinking about this.
You're such a
As
crackpot.
soon as you brought up about the texting, I knew this LOL thing was going to come up.
No, it's not really about the LOLs. It's more about
What
like
about a TY?
you for I've done the TY,
Okay, because I do the TY.
but there's too many shortcuts taken, And I really don't like voice to text. I understand it can be useful when somebody's driving and
Yeah, that's when I use it, and you guys
but
know it.
it's like it doesn't. I don't know. I just think we're better than that.
I
Like,
know,
we're
but Apple
not. We're not
CarPlay is
better than that. We're not better. Why did I say that? We're not better than that. We're
Apple
worse.
CarPlay is a beautiful thing, Matt. So I talk to text on there because I can't look at my
Yeah.
phone.
No, if there's pause. I don't know. It's the you that bothers me. You know what happened today? I was texting. A lot of things happened a lot of scheduling matters came up in my life today because we're expecting a wet weekend. Um, a lot of things were happening at once, text chains and stuff, and I kind of needed an answer from somebody on something immediately. You know what I did? Guess what I did?
What?
I called them.
How nostalgic of you.
I called them
Did you on your mobile device?
on my
Oh,
mobile
you didn't
device,
have a can with some
and
strings?
then
Did
they
they answer the phone?
and they did, and I apologized for calling, and they were like, no, 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 this is the method. They were like, no, no, you're gonna get what you want. So they went and they collected the information and they texted it back to me a few minutes later. So there you go.
Oh, it's good. All right, well here we are, guys. It's the omelet. It's Bryant, but it's gonna be some Bryant. We're gonna talk WrestleMania. So what do we got, Bryant?
We're going to talk WrestleMania. Like I said last week, I knew this was going to end up being a topic we put on the outline, and it was going to take up the most time. So we might as well dedicate the segment that gets the most time to the topic here of WrestleMania. Grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. It's Super Bowl of pro wrestling, and 2 nights. And naturally for us wrestling fans, everybody watches, and people who are not fans, usually this is the one show they watch just to see what wrestling's doing, what keep up, to their 1 year, one show a year. So, figure we can talk about some matches, talk about some things. One of the things that was not made aware that I guess I just never noticed, I guess I'll ask my fellow eggs if they noticed, there was no backstage segments at all the
Hmm.
entire weekend. Like the entire WrestleMania weekend, there was not one backstage segment,
Well,
which
that's
I
interesting.
found crazy. The only segments were the Cena segments in the ring.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah.
that not normal for the PLEs?
Not, for the PLEs, they do them, but for WrestleMania, there's always something. I always think of like the backstage segments with the legends, or there's an interview of some sort where they're with the backdrop asking them about getting ready for their match. None of it.
Or the
Not one.
GMs
Or
maybe.
yeah, you have a GM segment or something.
Gotcha.
It was all on the
Interesting.
post show. It was on the pre-shows, but nothing
Yeah,
during the actual
maybe
show.
that's probably what it
Maybe
was.
they happened during the 672 commercial breaks that occurred.
That could have been as well. So, I'll start off the same. Had the same opening for both nights. Lin Manuel Miranda did these great. I thought they were a great
Loved it.
opening. Great narration for it to start off the night, kind of talking about the past, the present, tying everything together. I thought it was great. Did you guys enjoy the segment? Did you
Yeah, he
enjoy
was
that
good.
as well?
Very
Loved it.
good.
And I think he is a man of great that commands great respect. So I really liked that, having him as a representative for something that we love. I thought
Yeah,
that
it
was
was good.
great.
Very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you bring in someone who, like you said, who is a fan, who appreciates it, who shows his fandom in a segment like that. Um, I did laugh having Cena start the show, doing I don't know what other than introducing, welcoming everybody. Um, I'm gonna just say this again, not a Cena fan, but I just felt like he wasn't necessary. Am I wrong in
No,
this assessment?
It was
no,
not
it was wasted. There wasn't enough of anything.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever felt like the host was has mattered all that
Your
much.
host should be a
yeah,
part of the whole show, not two segments a day or two
Yeah.
yeah.
segments each
You
day.
you have the opening and then right before the main event, and it was both
Yeah.
nights, same thing, and that's all
Yeah.
he did. It's like we don't
It
need
should
this.
be like an award show host where there's a big opening and then they keep reappearing throughout the
Yeah,
night without
absolutely.
taking
Yes,
up too much time.
yeah,
Yes.
I
no,
think
absolutely,
WrestleMania I went to, I think Alexa Bliss was the host.
Yeah.
That's
The
random.
Miz has done it. It's never.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gronkowski did one where nobody was there.
That's true. He had
Yeah.
the COVID mania, yes,
What the
which was
heck?
great. Yeah, he had the COVID mania. Um, so we'll talk a little bit night one. They had a couple matches for ESPN2 that night. There's a six-man tag with the Vision and IShow Speed versus the Usos and LA Knight, and then they also had the Jacob Fatu Drew McIntyre unsanctioned match. We know Brad was very excited for that one. He's mentioned how excited he was when they made the stipulation. Two matches for ESPN2 I thought was a great way to also keep the ESPN play going with it, but kind of interesting that those were the two matches chosen for night one. Thoughts on kind of those first two matches from you guys there?
I 100% agreed with both matches, especially with well, you're talking about these social media, Logan Paul and I Show Speed, and then the use and then the Yeet. I mean, you're putting that on free TV, you're sucking them in, and then so you have that Gaga there, which was really fun, and then you go into just, I mean, whatever the stipulation of the match was, I think we were all excited to see this one, and
Yeah.
then you see what maybe what we WWE really is and just show a great match. I mean, here's Jacob Fatu that was performing a few years ago in front of maybe 400 people. Is now on ESPN on WrestleMania night one. I mean, fantastic. So I was really happy with both matches. I mean, they could have done other ones. I like the
Mhm.
choices.
Right.
Yeah, I really like the after the six-man tag with IShow Speed sort of turning or whatever and jumping onto Logan Paul. That was pretty good. To be honest, my commentary is going to be a lot about the moments that occurred
Mhm.
because match quality wise, I don't know if there was any bad matches, but they were all pretty short, and I can only think of maybe two that stood out. So you're only going to hear me talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
The IShow Speed moment was great.
And I think that's what defined night one was the match length for a lot of these matches were really short. And I think that's what threw a lot of people off was there wasn't the long matches. Normally WrestleMania is known for having, 15, 20-minute matches. The main events are 30 minutes usually. And a lot of the matches here didn't even go 10 minutes
No,
on night one, which was very surprising to me, especially when you think of like, the next match on the card it was a fatal four-way women's tag title match. So you have eight women
right.
and it didn't even go 10 minutes for that
No.
match. Which also did have the return of Paige, which I thought was a great moment for her to be able to come back to the company, have her time. Um, you have AJ Lee, Becky Lynch, which kind of just they threw the match out there. I was surprised in the fact that they had the band perform for Becky Lynch. Clearly didn't get the time cues correct on their lip syncing,
That was
Yeah.
awful.
which is so bad. It was such a bad spot, but did give me a good laugh for that
Yeah,
moment.
it's tough. The stadium sound. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost impossible to get that right, anyways.
Yeah. Was also surprised with some of these matches you have
Should have just sang live. Who
exactly.
cares
I
if it
mean,
Yeah, I
wasn't
don't know why
staged?
they didn't.
yeah,
You're in a stadium. You're not on the Thanksgiving Day parade.
yeah. You don't need that moment. You're performing for wrestling fans who are not there for you. They're still going to pay attention to Becky walking down the ramp.
Yeah,
So,
weird.
one thing also I pointed out to kind of our group chat a little bit, but like normally there's usually a highlight package or a video package, a hype video to kind of hype up the matches. A lot of these matches had rivalries going into them. There was no package. There was nothing for it. It was just here's your match. Here we
Yeah.
go. And I
Again,
was surprised by that.
again, there was a lot of commercials. That's where you would have seen that stuff.
They
And there was
they
also
replaced them with the commercials.
a
Yeah,
3 hour pre-show where they did all that.
yeah, true.
And I can't watch that, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
I
God, no.
cannot watch that. I can watch
Yeah,
maybe a half hour of it.
mm,
That's it.
yeah,
Just because I just want to be ready. That's it.
right. Oh yeah, no. We'll go into what I feel was the match of the night, which was Seth Rollins versus Gunther. You let two guys who are great professional wrestlers go out and have a wrestling match. The brawling at the start was great, but the match itself, I think, turned into something great. And then, of course, the Braun Breaker, they called it a 75-yard sprint to the spear at the end, which I mean, to the moon with this guy, but to watch him, I was winded watching him as he got a quarter of the way down the ramp, let alone the full sprint. So, but a fantastic match, guys. Thoughts
great,
on that?
man. That match was a wrestling clinic. You would never know that. Like, I mean, how old is Seth at this point?
40, right?
He,
Yeah, he's 40.
he was operating like he was 24. They were they were just going at it, and it was captivating wrestling.
Imagine if there was
Wrestling
a story attached to that, that would have been 6 weeks ahead. This is what they did in 2 weeks. They outperformed
wrestling
everybody else.
Yeah,
outperform wrestling clinic just goes to show you how good those guys are.
Yeah, they are.
yeah,
Wrestling clinic, I suppose it's a shame we didn't really get a clean finish, but you understand this is
I
wrestling.
understand the story.
We have
Yeah,
to go to the
yeah,
next piece.
yeah,
yeah. I mean, the story was Seth and Braun Breaker going into Mania, and then Braun got hurt, so he had to switch it up. Well, I'm gonna just take myself out of this for a moment and let our music man talk about Liv Morgan and her song for the next 20 minutes here. So
I mean, I say this with complete honesty. Liv's entrance was my absolute favorite part of the entirety of WrestleMania.
I'm sure it was.
First of all, she said on the post show that they did that whole choreography that day, which is, if true, very impressive. When has somebody done a full music video style dance routine on their way to the ring, mobile, on their way down this long ramp, get winded, and plus she's all battered and bruised from
yeah.
Yeah, got hit
when she
that
got
goose egg. Yeah,
beaten up a couple weeks ago, and then go out there and have a pretty good match, and against a very popular opponent and win. I actually watched it again today.
Yeah,
I
it's
knew we were going to be
fantastic.
talking about it. I fired it up, and I was like, oh, was I just in the moment excited, or was this really that impressive? It was really that
No.
impressive.
I don't know if you can notice it at home. Matt does love Liv Morgan. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I don't know. Make sure everybody caught that there. Um,
It was just, oh, man, it was just such an The idea, like, you, how many people are nervous just to have the match? She's probably more nervous about the dance routine.
I don't think she's nervous about
I
anything.
Nothing.
don't think so
I
either.
think she loves everything she does. She
Full
puts
custom.
everything into it and is just the best right now.
She's
I love
Yeah.
her. She's great.
A couple years ago. It was, I think it was Elimination Chamber when Jade came back and attacked her. Whenever that was, I something happened that night where I was like, this is like the best performer they have
Yeah.
Mhm.
because every second she spent on that show was just perfect.
Yeah.
What when she walked backstage, they were probably like, "You did everything 100% right, A plus."
Yeah. No,
Okay.
it was great. I mean, I will say that the moment it started, I immediately just texted Matt going, "Are you okay?" Like watching as she started, I'm like, "You good, Matt?" Like, yeah. And then of course we have the main event. It's Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton,
Hang on,
the Gaga of everything.
hang on.
Oh, we're gonna go back to Liv. I apologize.
No, there
Oh,
was Cena and Bianca, which I thought was
oh
another wonderful
yes,
moment.
Cena and Bianca.
I
Bianca
did
Belair
not
comes out.
know
Yeah.
that she was pregnant.
Who
Uh,
cares? Who the hell
are
cares?
you kidding
It's
me?
I could give a shit less. That was the build.
Boo.
That's the big reveal that a woman is pregnant. Guess what? It's been going on since the beginning of
Boo.
time. Eve was her name.
Boo. This is a beloved character who hasn't been around. She had a reality show about
I
her
saw it.
and her husband. I'm giving context to people who might not know. Her husband's also a wrestler. One of the storylines on the reality show is that she was trying to get pregnant. She's been gone for a while with an injury. I thought it was a really nice
Yeah.
moment.
She's gonna be out for another year and a half.
Yeah.
And now we know why instead of wondering.
Yeah. I did laugh. I had someone else text me in that moment and go, I guess congratulations on having sex. I don't know what to say here.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm out.
You guys.
Hell cares? It's WrestleMania.
uh, so then, as stated, we have Cody, Randy, the Gaga of Pat McAfee, Jelly Roll, a match that had hope before Pat McAfee turned into this. It tried. I'm going to say that. It tried. It got good towards the end. You had the blood element. And then the finish, I'm still confused. Like
I'm very confused about the whole thing.
the whole thing just
Terrible.
I
seemed
don't
odd.
know. I don't know what came out of that. I don't know who's supposed to be good, who's supposed to be bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
It was
I was
awful.
disappointing.
Cody and Randy did worked pretty well,
Yeah.
Mm.
but the storytelling was terrible, and anybody who liked it is wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't I could not put the pieces together on it.
Yeah.
It was they there's no way they liked what they did.
There can be. No.
I don't even
There
think Pat
can be.
McAfee likes what he did. I don't think Jelly Roll likes what he did. I just think
No.
I don't know what that was.
Jelly Roll's just a backstage guy.
I don't know what that was.
All he is.
Yeah.
By the way, Cody won.
Cody won, retains the title. I will say the punt that he took at the end,
Oh,
trooper for taking that, just
Yeah.
solid shot. Um, really messed up his eye.
And for those who don't know, it's a kick to the head from Randy.
Yeah, yeah, kicks him in the head.
yeah.
Yes, and it's brutal, brutal
Mhm.
shot.
Oh,
Yeah, but yeah, kudos to Cody for taking that. So
um, I do want to say Cody's entrance with some of his past
Very
gear
good.
on display, that was cool.
that was cool.
Moments,
Excellent.
right?
Yeah,
That's
it's moments. Yep,
Yeah,
moment.
put all your time into that and then lay an egg.
Yeah.
yep, exactly. Yeah. So that was night one. We go to night two. We have the Lin Manuel Open, and then we go into what I said. I talked about who was over with me last week. It was Obafemi. To me, this was I was looking forward to two matches. They were both on night two. This was one of them. It's Brock Lesnar. It's Obafemi. It was the match focus showcased on ESPN as well because it's Brock Lesnar and it's a big match. And the match was exactly what it needed to be, a power struggle, short and sweet, and you cement a new guy in Obafemi. Um, but I think it was perfectly done. You didn't need a drawn out match. You didn't need to do anything flashy. You just hit the high points, you hit the key moves, and you got out of there. So I thought the match was great.
I have to interrupt for a second because the
Please.
draft is on right now, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are picking, and they're in Pittsburgh, and they were playing Thunder by
Thunderstruck.
AC, Thunderstruck, and they just showed Britt Baker, so I had to say it.
Oh,
The
nice.
wrestler for AEW.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm sorry,
nice.
guys. I just saw that and I got excited for a
No, that's
minute.
great.
But
That's good.
That's
I
great.
love the match. I loved everything about it. Did we
Is
talk
it
about the end?
No, we are getting. I
It
was
was
getting ready to
exact.
bring that up. So yeah,
The match was exactly what it should have been.
yeah. And Brad, how did the match end?
So, well, Brock lost, but he retired in the ring, took his gloves and he took his boots off, which apparently, unless they were all playing us, was a surprise to everyone.
Mhm.
Seemed it.
Um,
Yeah,
Seemed it. Unless it's what's the show called on
Punked?
Unreal?
unreal.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it seemed pretty legitimate. And you know
yeah.
what?
I don't think he'd be into that.
He
I don't
seemed.
think he'd be in
You're
unreal.
right.
No.
You're very right about that. I think what I liked about it was he seemed very, very genuinely appreciative and moved, and there was some real life emotion there.
Mhm.
There's times when I'm like, who's this guy that shows up twice a year and collects a big check and destroys whatever's going on that I liked? Um, but it seemed very genuine, and I really appreciated the moment.
No, it was great. I
It
loved
was
everything
great.
about it.
Yeah. No, it was the perfect moment, kind of that out of nowhere moment, which again, Matt already brought up. Sometimes WrestleMania is about those moments, and this was a moment for the show. Um, they had a second match for ESPN, as we talked about on night one. They had two matches. They had two matches on Sunday. And again, I think they picked the perfect match to showcase. It's a six-man ladder match for the Intercontinental title. JD McDonough, Dragon Lee, Rusev, Rey Mysterio, um, Penta, Javon Evans. You're showcasing new guys. You're showcasing some veterans. You got the classic high spots. And I really think Javon Evans kind of stood out a little bit, or they tried to make sure he was
Oh yeah.
showcased quite a bit. Ultimately, Penta wins, retains the Intercontinental title, but it's that crash and burn that you expect from a WrestleMania ladder match at this point.
I thought they gave Javon the Sol Ruca treatment from the John Cena's last match night, where they
Yeah.
show everything he can do. I
Mm,
think JD McDonough, he's like one of my top three favorites to watch right now. He makes everybody else look good, and
yeah,
he's incredible.
We
I,
said
I
he's the Dolph.
I would love for him to get to
yeah,
the next level. Looks like he may. I don't know, but I loved it. I thought the match was great. And I thought the right guy retained.
yes,
Yeah, I'm glad. There was a lot of title changes, so I'm glad that one didn't change.
mm, yeah. No, I thought that was great. Penta, you're showcasing him as well, giving that spotlight. Um, I'm not going to call it a flat match, but the U.S. title match kind of, I don't know what to call it.
It's
You have
short.
it was short. You have the crowd turning on Sammy. Trick Williams is over and needs to be, I will say, turned as quickly as you can to make him one of the over baby faces you could have on the show.
He's already a
Um,
babyface.
he's
He's
already a baby
already a
face.
babyface.
He's
He's just
already
a
a baby
Stone
face.
Cold kind of babyface.
Yeah. But he wins the U.S. title in that match. Short match. You have little
Yeah.
little whatever the guy's name is. I want to say I can't remember
I mean,
in
when
the
the
corner.
commercial packages are longer than the
Some of the
match, it's a
matches, yeah,
problem.
yeah. Then we go into the Demon versus Dominic Mysterio. I do love Finn Balor. I think he's the most dreamiest person ever. Um, and I love the Demon character. The entrance I thought was great. Dom coming out on the Lucha throne was, I thought, hilarious. I'm sure it's the same throne we were talking about from the beginning of the show. Um, but I thought the entrance was great. The match turned into a street fight on the pre-show, so they added an element to it to kind of help make it a little more oomph than just a regular match, which I thought could have helped it a little bit. So, um, Demon fans here,
Well, here's the
just
thing.
Yeah.
I think they really blew it. I really do because I don't understand why you have to announce that ahead of time.
mhm.
Everybody has WrestleMania on already.
Yeah,
You lost 2 moments by doing that. You lost the moment where the demon comes out because it only happens once every 3 years or so, and
yeah,
you lost the moment where Dominic reacts to it and tries to protest it in the ring.
yeah.
I think you missed an opportunity.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there it seemed like any opportunity they had to shield anything, they didn't shield, and that's maybe an effort to sell more tickets. Even the page thing, unfortunately, I accidentally found out about ahead of time, and I was
Yeah,
like,
mm,
oh well, that would have been pretty awesome if I didn't know about that.
right.
yeah.
They probably didn't. Maybe they didn't try too hard to keep that a secret.
They're not trying to keep it
They're
a
not
secret.
trying. Yeah. So,
It was out there that they signed her. I mean,
oh yeah,
I
they
didn't know
got they got
100% that she was going to be in that match. Pretty good idea, though.
yeah. You have the idea, but yeah, even with that one, you knew a few days in advance. So, next up, you have Rhea versus Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. Um, I thought this was Jade's best match in the company so
Yeah,
far.
definitely.
Rhea really helped elevate her a lot. Of course, you have the shenanigans, which brings out Michin, BFAB, and then Io Sky to help Rhea. Um, thought it was great. Thought it was a good match. Helped build Jade up, gets Jade a little more credibility going for the future as well.
Well,
So,
we've been hearing for 5 years how Jade needs to work. She looks like $1 million. We've been hearing for 5 years how she needs to improve her skills, improve her skills. Well, I thought she
mhm.
looked great out there.
Yeah.
She did.
I thought she looked really good. I didn't see any and that's the thing. Why am I looking for mistakes? She looked good. She looked
Hmm.
good,
She
and
looked
they,
good.
they had a good match.
Yep.
Yeah, her weaknesses was never the moves. It was always the in between the moves.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
I think it was fine. She did a
Yep.
one-winged angel in the
Yep.
match.
Which
yeah,
I
that
thought
was
was
cool.
great. That was
Very
great.
cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. And then we get to the main event. CM Punk defends the world title against Roman Reigns. Actually, before we get there, Danhausen comes out with John Cena. Has this segment with the Miz, Kit Wilson. Danhausen's out there, drives this tank. He has a bunch of little people painted up as Danhausen's. Um, it's just pure comedy gold, like pure Danhausen needs to be protected. It's one of these things like he's finding his niche in the company. If he doesn't wrestle that much, I don't care. Keep him as the comedy guy who just makes these faces and does these and curses people. Um, I thought the segment was hilarious.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, no.
Matt just
Talk
doesn't
about,
like Danhausen.
well, here's where I'm gonna, no, I wouldn't
Uh,
say that. I'm not sure. I honestly don't know if he belongs in WWE. We'll see how long it takes for the bloom to come off the rose on this. Um, my favorite part of the segment was John Cena, I introducing himself to Kit Wilson because he was like, I have no idea who you are. I thought that was pretty funny.
That was good.
Here's where I'm going to go into my rant about how they have a segment like this, but Io Sky doesn't have a match. I
I
mean,
was surprised you said. I was surprised you said EO. I thought you were going to say
uh,
Carmelo.
Carmelo Hayes doesn't have a match.
There you go.
Tiffany Stratton doesn't have a match. Asuka doesn't have a match. I'm like, that that's crazy. Okay, Io at least got to come out. But Tiffany Stratton, she beat Charlotte Flair at last year's WrestleMania. What, did she do something wrong somewhere? What's going
Io Sky
on?
Io Sky won the women's world title last year.
Io Sky was in the best match at
And she's on
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
every week.
Yeah.
Asuka is a Hall of Famer. Carmelo Hayes could be just as over as Trick Williams if presented that way.
And I put him up against anybody with his wrestling
He's a
skills.
better rep.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's gonna fall into a JD and Dolph Ziggler type of role. It's
Yeah,
the
he could.
second year in a row he's not on WrestleMania.
Mhm.
Not even on. Not even on.
I
You
know.
can't put him in the ladder match?
Why did you put Rusev? Well, you needed a big figure, I
You
guess.
need a guy to catch
What? Why'd you
everybody in
have to
that one.
cap it at 6?
Is there some? Is it a 7 Up match?
I'm pretty sure one of the WrestleMania ladder matches had 9 guys in it.
They did eight when they did Money in the Bank. They did do I think it was 10 one year for Money in the Bank. So
You can't have this guy. This guy hasn't earned 5 minutes out in front of a WrestleMania crowd. You've got to be kidding me.
yeah,
I mean, it just tells me he did did something that somebody doesn't like him.
I don't know about that, but maybe you never know. Politics is always in this way. So, but and then we get to um the finale, the main event. It's Punk, Reigns. Great entrances for both. You have the band orchestra for Roman. Punk comes out to his old music. Physical match. I got a good laugh out of this hard hitting match is going on. And in our group chat, out of nowhere, Brad goes, "Did you see Roman's teeth?" And it just made me laugh uncontrollably at that point. So, great match. Pass it to you guys.
Oh, I thought it was excellent. The teeth were very distracting, almost like vampire distracting.
That's why I had to say it.
But like the match itself was excellent. The story was told. The right guy went over, and CM Punk finally got his main event at WrestleMania, which he deserves. He's everybody loves him.
I thought the match was great. I understand Roman winning. Um, I probably wish Punk would have. I think 3 of the world titles out of the 4 changed hands. Seems like a lot.
There was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I liked it. Um, it's where are we gonna go from here? I guess they did work on that on Raw, but it was good.
Yeah.
It
It was
wasn't
good.
like I'm not gonna put it in like the top 10 WrestleMania matches. I
No,
think was it last year where it was the 2 of them and Seth?
Yeah.
That match was better. That match was
I
awesome.
think this was as good as Gunther Rollins, though. I just think it was the main event. We expect the most from it.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
It was a
So,
very good match.
Very good
It
match.
was a
I mean,
very
it
good.
was methodical, and then it got good, and then it got better.
mhm.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I said, we wanted to discuss Mania. I knew this would be the topic today so that we could take some time, dive in a little bit, have our moments. But the omelet this week is just enjoying Nerd Christmas, as I called it, WrestleMania.
Very good. Well, thank you, Bryant. We could talk about that for 3 hours if we really wanted to.
Oh, I have one more final remark.
Please.
At any point did anyone mention how big the screen was that was hanging over the ring? That thing
No.
was insanely enormous.
Yeah, you got to so
Notice
that
that?
people up top can see.
I don't know if it's ever been like that before. That was crazy.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Which brings us to Golden Eggs, and this is going to be me this week. Golden Eggs is a movie review. Now I cheated a little bit. So I picked up I had a book recommendation again, and it's something that goes way back to 1967. Ira Levin's Rosemary's Baby. I had never read the book, and I had never seen the movie. So I picked up the book. It was only about 250 pages, or I bought it on a Kindle, and I read it in a week. And it is so it's a story of a young couple that move into the Branford in New York, and it's something the building has a thing about it where there's always been these things that go on there, but it's a really nice place. And she gets pregnant, and then you go from there. Rosemary's Baby. What is this baby? And the road to get there. So I never really knew the story. This would be like a great tell, what I think unseen movies about because I really would never have known. But the book flows and it's almost perfectly written, like where you're not bored about anything. You are following it, and I read it in under a week. Immediately after I finished the book, I started the movie. It was on Paramount Plus, and it is one of these movies that actually follows the book exactly. You can hear lines right out of the book in the movie. They don't veer on anything at all. Like I tried to find something, it might be most closely to a book ever. And it was really fun. I mean, it's dated, very dated. And, it's Mia Farrow. And and Roman Polanski, is the director. So it's one of, it's lives, people have been watching it and loved it for years. But I have to mention some things that make this movie a 1968 movie. When Rosemary and her husband move into the apartment, they have no furniture and they're eating on the floor. And about halfway through the meal, she says, "I would like to make love." And he's like, "Okay." Like he doesn't say anything. And then it's like dark, but they start taking off their clothes on the floor. And it takes forever for them to take their, it is so awkward. And it's almost like the comic relief of the movie. Like it's ridiculous. It's like when Indiana Jones comes out of a manhole in the middle of a street somewhere. It's like, what is happening? This is absurd. It took so long for them to take their clothes off. I just thought that was interesting. When she does get pregnant, the neighbors come over and they toast to her pregnancy. Well, guess what? She's toasting too. She has a glass of wine to her pregnancy.
Yep.
There's a scene where her husband buys a carton of Pall Malls and is sorting them out on the table, like organizing the Pall Mall packs. Very heavy, heavy New York accents in it, which I think is kind of a lost art in movies about New York and stuff. I don't know if maybe they don't feel we can relate as well to that, or maybe the masses can't relate because like in Seinfeld, there was no one had a New York accent,
No.
but there it's heavy in this. And finally, she ends up going into a phone booth to make a call. And this is like an emergency, like everybody's watching her. She's in the phone booth and she has this address book that it's like a giant notebook and she has it open and she's trying to make a call. And people are like, this is not inconspicuous at all. But overall, I had to mention those things because it's like an older movie and it's dated, but very good. I don't know if like, I don't think I wanted to watch it because I read the book, but I don't know if it holds up or not, but I enjoyed every bit of it. You guys ever see it?
Nope.
I've read the book, have not seen the movie.
It's exactly the same, Brian.
Interesting. Okay.
So did the book author write the screenplay? That's not always the case.
You know what? I should have looked at that. Maybe I'll before the end of the show, I'll find out. But I couldn't believe it. The lines right out of the book in the movie. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun. Sue went out of town for a few days, so I watched a couple of horror movies. I also watched Ready or Not, um, and that's a horror movie that they just made a sequel to recently.
Hmm.
And I wanted to watch that because I wanted to watch the sequel. And that was just like a more of like a horror comedy, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, golden eggs.
Hmm.
Love it.
Which brings us to rotten eggs, man. Yeah, we're gonna do it.
I don't know
I
where
thought we
we're
were going
gonna.
a little long.
Let's just do it. We're
All right.
here.
Okay. So rotten eggs is bad experiences. So Matt,
So this is wrestling adjacent. My friends and I went to the 2002 SummerSlam at Nassau Coliseum in Long Island in New York. And by the way, excellent event. Look the matches and who was on the roster. Is like everybody except for like two people is like a Hall of Famer, and Chris Benoit. Um, so on the way back, and we were a lot younger this time. No, nowhere to be, nothing to do. After it ended, we went through Manhattan on our way back to New Jersey, and we were like, "Oh, we got to stop at Ray's Pizza, New York City pizza, right? We got to stop at Ray's." So we go to Ray's, we get this wonderful pizza. It's late, right? I mean, it's after SummerSlam, after a nighttime event. And my friend was driving, and he actually did not want to be the driver. It was five people in one car, and something happened, and he was forced into driving, and he wasn't happy about it. And the road we needed to go on to get to Ray's was closed, and he was all frustrated, and we made a wrong turn or whatever, and he hits something. He runs something over, and his something's leaking now, and that we're like, this is a problem. Are we going to be stuck in the city? It's late. And my one friend said a line, which is something we still say today, ironically. He was like, "Oh, all we got to do is go down here, make this turn, and get on the highway and get over the bridge. Yeah, we're home." It was like, we're not home. So we always jokingly say when we're like in the middle of, when we're nowhere near home, we always jokingly say we're home. But anyways, the moral of this story is it was a broken transmission something or other under the car, and he had to pay $1,000 to get it fixed. So we refer to this as the $1,000 slice of pizza. Because if we didn't go through Manhattan on the way home to get the pizza and he was driving the car he didn't want to drive, this wouldn't have happened. And we
Wow,
wouldn't have had to spend $1,000.
that is a bad experience.
Yeah.
Rotten eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yikes. By the way, the one who wrote the screenplay for Rosemary's Baby is also Roman Polanski, the director, which is even more bizarre now.
So so he just ripped it right out of the book then.
Yeah,
Probably. Yeah.
yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, my rotten eggs. I might have told this story before. I don't. I mean, I don't. Didn't tell it on this show. I don't know if I told it on the Kickout Crew or if I've just told this story so many times, but it sticks with me so much because it was such a scary experience. But if I did tell it before, I'm going to tell it again. So, I have a garden, and I didn't want rabbits and any animal coming in the garden. I was having a lot of trouble with that. So someone told me once to buy ammonia and spread it around the garden because the smell will just keep them away.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. So I go to the local hardware store. Back then there was one. I was a young dad then. And I went and bought 2 of the gallon, I would say, of ammonia. And the guy says to me, he goes, this is dangerous stuff. I said, what do you mean? He goes, be very careful with this. This isn't like rubbing alcohol. All right. This is ammonia. I said, all right, dude, whatever. Fuck. So I put the stuff in I had a truck at the time, a pickup truck, and I put it in. And don't you know it, on the way home, I hit a curb in my neighborhood, and the ammonia spills inside the truck. It breaks
How?
open.
Mm.
It and I didn't know, I had the warning, and now it hits me. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. It completely takes your breath away. And it was burning, and like I couldn't breathe. I couldn't inhale. So I slam on the brakes and I pull the brake, the emergency brake, and I fall out of the truck. I fall out of the truck, and I'm on the ground in my neighborhood in the middle of the street. Um, it took me. I was not the same for like that day.
Yeah,
I
no
somehow
doubt.
I think what I ended up doing was I got the stuff out of there and walked it home, and then eventually got into the truck again. But I think I let it air out on the side of the road for a while.
You're like the definition of what is that expression where it's like if something can go wrong, it will go
Murphy's
wrong.
Law.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're Murphy.
Yeah, that was really scary because I would say that's the nearest near death experience I've ever had.
What?
Because I
Why
thought
did
that
it
was, I mean,
break
I
open?
probably only had a couple more seconds to get out of that
If
car
it's so dangerous, why wasn't it in a more formidable
because I didn't
container?
buy it. I didn't know that it was dangerous. Like I don't know. I'm just trying to buy
Yeah.
something to keep bringing pests away.
He's
I
just
don't
trying to keep
know.
the rabbits at bay.
I didn't have a lot of ammonia experience, okay, but the guy warned me. The guy freaking definitely warned me. So, rotten eggs. Which brings us to you, Bryant.
God, mine pales in comparison to this. Jesus. So I go to a lot of events, obviously, did a lot of things where you do like meet and greets and do these experiences where you get to meet people. So decided to go to a concert, and the concert has this same experience where you can get like this backstage, do a meet and greet kind of thing. You get your own separate entrance in, and it was for one of Sue's favorite acts. So I was like, I'm going to do this for her. I do this for me all the time for wrestling. I'm going to do this for her. We're going to get this experience. Never done one for musical acts. I just want to see how this goes. It was the shits. Here's your special entrance so that you can get in early. We stood in line for an hour and a half. Get in there to this special VIP room where they're going to have all this food and beverages and all you want. They had these little mini sandwiches and a bag of chips. Uh, you could get a drink. Great. You go to the thing. All right, you have to pay for the drink. So and then it's like, all right, we're gonna give everybody a goodie bag. You get a goodie experience. Here's a goodie bag. It was a tote bag with a little couch pillow, and like Sue is just livid at this point. She's like, why did we do this? Why would we upgrade for this? This is nothing. And I go, well, hold on. There's got to be the moment where the singer comes in, and this is gonna be this great moment. And everybody's in this room. Everybody's excited. And this guy walks in and he's just kind of looking around. He goes, "Why are y'all still in here? You should all be at your seats by now."
Wow.
That was it. That was the whole experience.
How much did you upgrade for?
It was a very expensive upgrade.
Yeah. You've 0 for 2 with helping Sue out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I remember a concert that you guys had to wait 17 hours to get on the bus or something.
Yep. That was Hinterland. Yeah. We told that story as well.
I'm sure
Uh,
there's other stories.
Oh, there are. That's why this works for me. But yeah, it's one of those where like, because then in your mind you're like, well, we could do it again. We'll try it again. She's like, no, I don't want. If this is the first one, I don't want to try it again. So we've never done it again. But it's just an experience where it's like, hey, you get this moment. Now you don't. We're just
Hmm.
come on in and have fun. I guess. I don't know. Enjoy your finger sandwich.
The bag of chips where you guys, everybody had to put their hands into chips.
No, it was like the little bags you get from the. Nah, it would have been probably if they
That
had
would
their
have been
way.
awesome. That would make the whole thing.
It made me feel like they just ran to the gas station real quick and just swiped off the shelf of all the little bags and brought them over to
Did
the
you go to
arena.
Firefest?
No, and I will
Hmm.
not say the artist just because Sue still
Yeah.
loves them. So
Well, I hope she goes and sees another Jonas Brothers soon. Having said that, I'm just making stuff up, Matt. We've had a very nice show. Matt, why don't you go ahead and hit us with the socials?
Thanks for listening, everybody. We are three Jonas Brothers are better than one, cooking up every Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Find us on YouTube at Three Eggs Are Better Than One, the number three, the letter R, the number one. Follow us on X, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok at Three Eggs Are Better, the number three, the letter R. And our individual accounts at Yasman Brad, at P. Harumza. I am at Purple Shirt Guy Without the Eye. How about some 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts? Please comment on YouTube. Apologies to Bober. We ran out of time. Next week is mine. And guys, I am going to be talking about things that have had a second life. I'm really not going to expand anything else, but if you each want to do a tiny bit of homework, maybe bring one thing, something that premiered, debuted, first released, and did not make any waves, but down the road, for a known reason or an unknown reason, had a second life.
Very good. And I know I wrote Brad here, but it's not Brad. Bring us home, Bryant.
we thank you guys for joining us this week. We hope you appreciate the detour, doing a little wrestling talk. I know we don't do a lot of that here, but hope you appreciate hearing some stories, hearing about some experiences, and maybe hopefully you guys get to meet the singer of your choice, and they'll actually show up and provide you with better food. So the egg timer's been set. We'll see you guys next week.
I'd like to thank Sal Saperstein.